August 6th, 1945. A single flash of light. 75,000 people vaporized in 9 seconds. But that's not even close to the worst day on this list. What you're about to hear will shatter everything you thought you knew about human history. 6 days, 6 catastrophes, so absolutely devastating, they literally redefined civilization itself. And number one, it erased more lives in 24 hours than World War I killed in 4 years. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. Let's start with number 6. December 6th, 1917. Halifax, Nova Scotia. It's a Thursday morning. Families are eating breakfast. Kids are getting ready for school. The harbor is busy with wartime shipping traffic. Everything seems normal. At 8:45 a.m., 2 ships are about to collide in the harbor. One of them, the SS Mont Blanc, is carrying something nobody in Halifax knows about. It's loaded with 2,900 tons of explosives, enough firepower to level an entire city. The ships collide. Fire breaks out on the Mont Blanc. For 20 minutes, residents gather at their windows to watch the burning ship. They have no idea what's coming. But here's what they didn't teach you in history class. Sailors on the Mont Blanc knew exactly what was about to happen. They abandoned ship and rowed frantically toward the shore, screaming in French for everyone to run. Most people didn't speak French. They just kept watching. 9:04:35 a.m. The Mont Blanc explodes. The blast is so powerful, it creates a tsunami 30 feet high. A mushroom cloud rises over a mile into the sky. Every single building within a half-mile radius is completely obliterated. Gone. Just erased from existence. Windows shatter 12 miles away. The explosion is heard 250 miles away in Prince Edward Island. It's the largest man-made explosion in human history before the atomic bomb. And to put that in perspective, this single explosion was equal to roughly 2.9 kilotons of TNT, about 1/5 the power of the Hiroshima bomb. The aftermath is apocalyptic. 2,000 people dead instantly, 9,000 injured, 25,000 homeless in the middle of a Canadian winter. And the worst part? A blizzard hits the very next day, burying survivors in the ruins of their homes. But as horrific as Halifax was, it doesn't even crack the top 5 worst days in human history. Because number 5 was an act of nature so violent, it changed the course of American history forever.
Number 5. September 8th, 1900. Galveston, Texas. It's the wealthiest city in Texas, maybe the entire South. Known as the Wall Street of the Southwest. 40,000 people live here on this beautiful barrier island. The morning starts warm and cloudy. Hurricane warnings? They don't really exist yet. Weather forecasting is primitive. Some residents notice the ocean swells are bigger than usual. The tide is rising. But it's just a storm, right? By noon, water is flooding the streets. By 3 p.m., winds are hitting 100 miles per hour. Families retreat to the second floors of their homes. They think they'll be safe up there. Now you might be wondering, how bad could it really get? Here's how bad. By 7 p.m., a 15-foot storm surge, basically a wall of ocean, crashes into the island. Entire houses are ripped off their foundations. Families are swept out to sea while clinging to debris. The wind is so strong it drives wooden planks through brick walls like bullets. Bodies are impaled on fence posts. Children are torn from their parents' arms and disappear into the churning black water. And this is where it gets even worse. By midnight, 6,000 people are already dead. But the nightmare isn't over. For weeks afterward, bodies wash ashore by the thousands. So many corpses that burial becomes impossible. The city has to burn them in massive pyres on the beach. The smell of burning flesh hangs over Galveston for months. Final death toll? Somewhere between 8,000 and 12,000 people. the deadliest natural disaster in United States history. An entire generation of families wiped out in a single night. You think that was devastating? Number 4 made Galveston look like a practice run. And it happened because of a weapon so new, the scientists who built it weren't even sure it would work. Number 4. August 6th, 1945. Hiroshima, Japan. It's 8:15 in the morning. People are commuting to work. Children are walking to school. Factory workers are starting their shifts. 350,000 people are living their normal Monday morning lives. High above the city, a B-29 bomber called the Enola Gay is carrying a single bomb. It's called Little Boy. It weighs about 10,000 pounds. Nobody in Hiroshima knows what's about to happen. Nothing like this has ever existed before. 8:17 a.m. Little Boy detonates 1,900 feet above the city. For a fraction of a second, the temperature at ground zero reaches 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's as hot as the surface of the sun. People within half a mile are literally vaporized. They don't burn, they don't die, they simply cease to exist. All that's left are shadows permanently burned into concrete where they were standing. The blast wave travels at 700 miles per hour. It flattens everything within a 1-mile radius. 5 square miles of the city just disappears. Buildings that took decades to construct are reduced to rubble in 3 seconds. But here's what most people don't realize. The explosion itself only killed about half of the victims. The rest died from burns, radiation sickness, and injuries over the following weeks and months. People who seemed fine would suddenly start losing their hair, bleeding from their gums, and dying in agony from radiation poisoning they didn't even know existed. 75,000 dead on day 1. By the end of 1945, the death toll reaches 140,000. The first city in history destroyed by atomic fire. And that was just the beginning of the nuclear age. But catastrophic as Hiroshima was, number 3 killed almost as many people without any advanced technology at all. Just raw, unstoppable planetary fury. Number 3. April 10th, 1815. Sumbawa Island, Indonesia. Mount Tambora has been rumbling for days. The local population is nervous, but volcanic eruptions aren't that unusual here. They've seen this before. April 10th, 7 p.m. Tambora doesn't just erupt, it explodes with a force equivalent to 33,000 Hiroshima bombs going off simultaneously. The explosion is the loudest sound in recorded human history. It's heard 1,600 miles away. To put that in perspective, that's like an explosion in New York City being heard clearly in Denver, Colorado. People think it's cannon fire from a naval battle. The blast is so powerful, it sends volcanic ash 12 miles into the stratosphere. Pyroclastic flows, superheated avalanches of gas and rock traveling at 400 miles per hour obliterate every village within 25 miles. 71,000 people die within days. Entire civilizations on neighboring islands are wiped out completely. Languages go extinct, cultures disappear. But the real horror? That's just the beginning. The ash in the atmosphere blocks out the sun globally. 1816 becomes known as the year without a summer. Crops fail worldwide. Snow falls in July in New England. Famine spreads across Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Hundreds of thousands more die from starvation. Some estimates put the total death toll at 92,000 or higher. One volcano, one day, an entire planet changed. But number 2? Number 2 is something even more terrifying.
a force of nature that killed nearly 1 million people, and it happened so fast that some villages were completely submerged before residents even woke up.
Number 2. September-October 1887. September 1887, northern China. The Yellow River, called China's Sorrow, is about to live up to its name in the most devastating way imaginable. Weeks of torrential rain have swollen the river to unprecedented levels. Dikes and levees that have protected villages for generations are straining. And on one catastrophic day in late September, they fail. The water doesn't just overflow, it explodes through the earthen barriers with the force of a liquid battering ram. A wall of water 30 feet high races across the countryside at the speed of a galloping horse. Villages disappear in minutes. Entire towns are submerged before people can even react. Farmers working in fields look up to see a brown wall of churning water swallowing the horizon. Families asleep in their homes drown in their beds. There's nowhere to run. The flood zone covers 50,000 square miles, an area larger than the entire state of Pennsylvania. And this is where the numbers become almost incomprehensible. Conservative estimates put the death toll at 900,000 people. Some historians believe it reached 2 million in a single flood event. That's more than the atomic bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined, more than most wars in history, gone in a matter of days. 2 million more people are left homeless, crops are destroyed, famine follows, disease spreads through refugee camps. The economic devastation sets China back decades, one of the greatest catastrophes in human history, and most people in the West have never even heard of it. But all of this, Halifax, Galveston, Hiroshima, Tambora, the Yellow River, all of it pales in comparison to number 1. Number 1. January 23, 1556, Shaanxi Province, China. It's the middle of the night. Most of the population, millions of people, are asleep in yaodongs, which are artificial caves carved into the soft rock cliffs that dot the region. At midnight, the ground begins to shake. But this isn't just any earthquake. This is an 8.0 magnitude monster, one of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded. And because of where and how people live, it becomes the single deadliest earthquake in human history. The yaodongs, those cave dwellings where millions of people are sleeping, collapse instantly. Entire cliff faces crumble like sand. Families are buried alive in seconds. There's no warning, no time to escape, just the violent shaking, the thunderous roar of rock collapsing, and then darkness. Above ground, the devastation is just as complete. The earthquake triggers catastrophic landslides. Entire mountains shift. Valleys are filled with debris. Rivers are dammed, creating lakes that flood even more villages. Cracks open in the earth so wide that houses disappear into them. The shaking is so violent it's felt over 300 miles away. An area of 520 miles is completely devastated. In some counties, 60% of the entire population dies in a single night. The final death toll? 830,000 people in one day. That's more than the entire population of San Francisco, just gone, erased. To put that in perspective, that's more deaths than Hiroshima, Nagasaki, the Halifax Explosion, and the Galveston hurricane combined. And it happened in the middle of the night when people couldn't even fight back. This is the deadliest single-day catastrophe in recorded human history. And the worst part? Most of the world has completely forgotten it even happened. 6 days, over 2 million lives lost. These aren't just statistics in a history book. These are real people with real families, real dreams, real futures that were stolen in moments of unimaginable catastrophe. The Shaanxi earthquake alone killed nearly 1 million people in the time it takes to watch a movie. Think about that. Which day shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments below.
And if you made it this far, you're stronger than most. Subscribe for more history that'll change how you see the world. Because the past isn't dead. It's not even past.